Welcome back, you night owls. Tonight we're going to step out of the gentle hum of our modern world and into the clammy, strangely aromatic chambers of a medieval castle. You're not just an observer, you are the queen. Imagine for a moment the heavy velvet of your bed hangings, the damp chill that clings to the stone walls, the faint, persistent smell of wood smoke, old rushes, and something else. Something not entirely pleasant. Forget what you think you know about royal life, about grand bathrooms and porcelain tubs. The reality is far less sparkling. You probably won't survive this. Your survival, or at least your health, depends on rituals that would make a modern doctor faint. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Also, let me know where you're listening from and what time it is for you. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You lie in your massive carved bed, its four posts hung with tapestries thick enough to block out the drafts and the prying eyes of your attendants. The morning light, what little of it there is, filters through a narrow window, painting a dusty, silvery streak across the stone floor. You've been awake for some time, listening to the muffled sounds of the castle stirring to life. The first order of business, even before the day's endless stream of duties and demands, is the cleansing ritual. But this isn't a quick shower or a bubbly bath. It's an elaborate, multi-layered process, part ceremony, part necessity, and part, well, a way to make the best of a difficult situation. You push back the heavy furs and step onto the floor. The cold bites through the thin soles of your slippers. Immediately a handmaiden rushes to you holding out a soft linen cloth. This, believe it or not, is often the first step of your bath. It's a dry wipe down, a way to remove the dust and sweat of the night before any liquid ever touches your skin. This simple act highlights a major theme of medieval hygiene. Water, especially hot, clean water, is a commodity. It's heavy, it's hard to heat, and it's precious. So you start by conserving. You take the cloth, and with practiced motions, wipe your face, your arms, and your neck, a quick sweep to feel a bit fresher. The true ritual, the one that historians still argue whether it was a weekly, monthly, or even less frequent occurrence for some queens, is about to begin. It's not a daily routine, not by a long shot. A truly immersive bath is an event, a logistical puzzle requiring the labour of many and the resources of the entire household. It's a special occasion, perhaps before a feast or a visit from a foreign dignitary, and you can feel the air of anticipation. Handmaidens begin to bring in the large, heavy wooden tub. It's often lined with cloth to prevent splinters, and it's not just for you. As we'll get into later, these baths were often communal. While a queen might have a bath to herself for a specific reason, the shared bath was a common practice among the nobility, a sign of camaraderie and trust. The tub is placed in the centre of the room, or sometimes in a separate chamber if one is available. The sound of its thud as it's set down is a signal, the official start of the process. Now for the water. The servants, and for a queen this would be a large retinue of them, have been working since before dawn to heat the water in large cauldrons over the fire. This is a Herculean task, and it's why a full bath is a luxury. Buckets upon buckets are carried in, their contents steaming, filling the room with a thick, humid air that smells of wood smoke and damp wool. The heat is a comfort, a pleasant contrast to the usual chill of the stone chamber. This entire process, from the first bucket to the last, can take an hour or more, a testament to the sheer effort involved in getting a bath ready. As the tub fills, you're surrounded by your handmaidens. They don't just assist, they are part of the ritual. They bring forth the herbs, lavender, rosemary and mint, to make the water fragrant. A mainstream historical fact here is that these herbs were not just for scent. They were believed to have medicinal properties, to purify the body and ward off illness. The bath was as much a health tonic as a cleaning ritual. It's a holistic approach, a kind of magical thinking that tied together personal hygiene, well-being, and a belief in the power of nature. One of the quirky tidbits that you learn as a queen is about the specific scents chosen for you. Certain smells were associated with certain virtues. Rose petals might be used to enhance beauty, while rosemary was thought to improve memory. The smell of the bath itself becomes a signal to the court, an announcement of your intent for the day. Are you seeking clarity for a political meeting, or do you simply wish to feel refreshed for a long day of needlework? The scent tells the story. you watch as a handmaiden carefully sprinkles dried rose petals and lavender buds into the steaming water. The fragrance is intoxicating, a floral cloud that hangs in the humid air, momentarily masking the castle's other, less pleasant aromas. So you finally step into the tub. The water is surprisingly hot, and the warmth soaks into your bones. It's a moment of pure, unadulterated pleasure. But you don't get a bar of soap, you get a different kind of cleansing agent. The soap we know today wasn't widely available or used in the same way. Instead, your handmaidens bring forth a fine, porous cloth bag filled with a mixture of ashes and fats, or sometimes a special type of clay. This is your soap, and it lathers very little. The real cleaning comes from a vigorous scrub with a coarse linen cloth. It's a far cry from a luxurious modern loofah. The handmaidens scrub your back and your arms, their movements practiced and impersonal. You lean back, feeling the steam on your face, and close your eyes. In this moment, you're the centre of a small, busy universe, all of it dedicated to this one ritual. The water is a symbol of power and privilege, a reminder that while the rest of the court might have to settle for a quick wash in a basin, you have a full, warm tub. It's a momentary escape from the drafty halls and the constant scrutiny, a brief period of sensory luxury. But the moment doesn't last. The water cools quickly, and the handmaidens are already preparing for the next step. The scrubbing ceases, and you are lifted from the tub, a large, soft towel waiting to envelop you. The entire experience is a paradox, simultaneously intimate and public, a moment of profound personal care that requires the labour of many and is dictated by tradition, necessity, and the surprising scarcity of a resource we take for granted. You are a queen, and you are clean, at least for a little while. As you are lifted from the now cooling bathwater, dripping and softened by the heat, a swarm of activity begins around you. This is the moment when you fully appreciate the true logistical genius of your unseen handmaidens. They are not just your servants, they are your personal army of sanitation, a silent, efficient force that makes the entire ritual possible. They work with a practiced precision that has been passed down through generations, each woman knowing her role with a quiet, confident grace. While you were soaking, they were already moving. One handmaiden holds a large, thirsty linen towel, its texture rough and absorbent, ready to wrap around you. Another has a separate cloth, meticulously folded to dry your face and neck. A third, perhaps the most important of them all in this moment, is holding a smaller, softer cloth and a bowl of fragrant oil. As she begins to gently pat you dry, her movements are swift but gentle, a blur of motion. She knows exactly where to apply pressure to get the water out of your hair and off your body without scuffing your now sensitive skin. A mainstream historical fact is that the role of a queen's handmaiden was a position of immense trust and responsibility. These women were not just servants, they were confidants, political spies, and, as you're seeing now, crucial to your daily survival. They knew your body's quirks, your moods, and the secret language of your chamber. The handmaidens who brought in the hot water are now working in reverse. They are emptying the tub bucket by heavy bucket. The water, now murky and filled with the remnants of herbs and the day's grime, is not simply discarded. It is often saved for other uses, perhaps for washing linens, or maybe to be boiled again for a less important member of the court. A quirky tidbit you've learned is that some castles had a designated wastewater courtyard, where the contents of the tubs would be poured out, often attracting scavenging animals and creating a smell all its own. This circular economy of water, where nothing is truly wasted, is a testament to the scarcity we talked about earlier. Once you're dry, the anointing begins. The handmaiden with the bowl of oil steps forward. This isn't just a moisturizer, it's a critical step in the ritual. The oil, often infused with jasmine, almond or rose, is lightly massaged into your skin. It's a luxury, of course, but it also serves a practical purpose. The scrubbing with the coarse cloth and the harsh water can irritate your skin, and the oil soothes it, providing a barrier against the dry, drafty air of the castle. But historians still argue whether this anointing was truly about skincare, or if it was a more ceremonial act, a way to mark your body as sacred and separate from the common folk. Was it medicinal, or was it a ritual display of your divine right to rule? You can feel the warmth of her hands as she works the oil into your forearms, and you don't particularly care about the historical debate. All you know is that it feels wonderful. The handmaidens, who haven't been directly involved in drying you, are now working to clean the chamber itself. They sweep up the wet herbs, wipe down the tub, and prepare the room for the next phase of your morning. The entire process is a ballet of silent coordination. There are no words exchanged, just a series of nods and glances that are as effective as any command. You realise that your entire existence, from the food you eat to the cleanliness of your skin, is a product of this unseen labour. The public sees the Queen, radiant and fragrant, but they never see the hands that toiled to get you there. This reliance on others extends to every part of your daily life. You don't have a private chamber where you can lock the door and have a moment to yourself. There is always someone present, always someone watching, always someone ready to assist. You are a public person even in your most private moments, and this is particularly true during the bathing ritual. The handmaidens know every inch of your body, every mole and scar, every blemish. They are the keepers of your physical secrets, and this intimacy, born of necessity, forges a strange and complex bond. You stand there, a fragrant, oiled statue in the middle of the room, as the handmaidens now bring forth your first layer of clothing. This is not a rushed affair. The clothes must be put on with care to avoid wrinkling them or smudging the fresh oil on your skin. They are a second skin, a way to hold in the warmth of the bath and the scent of the oils. The first layer is a fine linen shift, simple and soft. As one handmaiden holds it open for you to step into, another is already preparing your outer garments, shaking them out and laying them on a chest. The air in the room, once thick with steam, has now dissipated, replaced by the cool, dry air of the morning. You shiver slightly, and a handmaiden immediately drapes a fur-lined cloak over your shoulders. This constant anticipation of your needs is a part of their job. It's an unspoken contract. They ensure your comfort and well-being, and in return they have a secure place in the court, a position of some power and influence. They are not just serving you, they are serving the idea of you, the idea of the Queen as a figure of flawless grace and effortless elegance. You are now ready for the next phase of your day, but the ritual is not yet complete. The handmaidens still have work to do. They must put away the tub, store the remaining herbs, and prepare for your next bath whenever that may be. A part of you feels a flicker of guilt at the sheer amount of work you've created, but you quickly suppress it. This is the natural order of things, the way it has always been. You are the Queen, and your comfort is the labour of many. This reliance on others for your most basic needs creates a certain emotional distance too. You're never truly alone. The sounds of your chamber are never just your own. There is always the rustle of fabric, the soft padding of footsteps, the quiet murmur of whispered instructions. Even in the silence, you know they are there, just outside your door, ready to respond to your every need. You remember a similar moment once when you were being dressed for a feast, and a handmaiden accidentally pricked your finger with a pin. The look of sheer panic on her face was a stark reminder of the fragile power dynamic between you. Your well-being is her entire existence, and so you walk out of the chamber, now clean and refreshed. The lingering scent of rose and jasmine trailing behind you. You feel a sense of well-being, a kind of renewed vigour. But it's not just the physical act of being clean. It's the knowledge that an entire team of unseen workers has laboured to make you so. They are the silent architects of your royal life, and their work, though often unmentioned in the grand chronicles of your reign, is what makes it possible for you to even face the day. They are the handmaidens of hygiene, and you are entirely at their mercy. You leave the chamber, wrapped in your fresh shift and an expensive fur-lined robe, feeling a fleeting sense of cleanliness. But as you glide down the long, winding corridors of the castle, you're confronted by a different reality. The air is thick with the smells of daily life, the rich, smoky aroma of the kitchens, the sharp tang of a tannery in the courtyard below, the damp mustiness of ancient stone, and the undeniable scent of unwashed bodies. Your fleeting moment of purity is about to be layered over with a thick aromatic veil. This is where perfume steps in, a far more powerful and common tool than soap and water. Your handmaidens, anticipating your needs, have a small box waiting for you in your antechamber. Inside, nestled on a bed of silk, are small glass vials and pomanders. These are not merely for pleasure, they are a necessary part of your daily armour. You extend your hand, and a handmaiden carefully uncorks a tiny glass bottle, the stopper letting out a burst of scent. You choose a thick, musky fragrance today, something with notes of ambergris and civet. This is your first layer of defence, a fragrant shield against the olfactory onslaught of the medieval world. A mainstream historical fact is that perfumes were not just for the upper classes, they were a common feature of life, used by people of all social strata to mask unpleasant smells. The difference lay in the quality of the ingredients. A queen's perfume would be made from exotic, imported ingredients, while a commoner might use something as simple as rosewater or lavender. You watch as the handmaiden takes a small gilded box from the tray. Inside is a pomander, a perforated sphere filled with fragrant materials like ambergris, civet, musk, and spices. You might be more familiar with its modern, potpourri-like descendant, but in your time, this little orb is a powerful weapon against foul odours. You lift it to your nose and inhale the potent, complex scent. It is not delicate. It is designed to command attention and overpower other smells. A quirky tidbit you learn is that these pomanders were often worn around the neck or waist, a kind of personal portable air freshener that announced your presence before you even entered a room. The scent wasn't just for masking smells, it was a status symbol, a declaration of your wealth and access to the spice trade of the East. The application of scent is not a simple spritz. Your handmaidens dab the thick oil onto your pulse points, your wrists, the hollow of your throat, and behind your ears. The scent is heavy and lingers, a persistent aura that follows you through the day. The practice is so pervasive that it's no wonder historians still argue whether the medieval obsession with perfume was more about fashion and status, or if it was a genuine, if misguided, attempt at preventing disease. People of your time believed that bad smells, or miasmas, were responsible for illness. By surrounding yourself with sweet-smelling air, you were, in a way, creating a personal health fortress. As you move through the castle, you begin to see how this system of scented disguise works. You greet your courtiers in the great hall. Their own scents, a mix of wood smoke, sweat, and cheap rosewater, mingle in the air, but yours cuts through it all. You are a walking testament to wealth and power, not because you are clean in the modern sense, but because you are fragrant. The scent is a non-verbal cue that you are a person of importance, someone whose proximity is a privilege. Your handmaidens also bring forth small bags of dried herbs and spices, which they tuck into the folds of your robes. These sachets, often filled with cloves, cinnamon, or even dried orange peel, are a kind of layered fragrance, a way to ensure that even a slight breeze brings a pleasant aroma. The use of these sachets is a common practice, not just for queens, but for anyone who could afford them. They were placed in chests to keep clothes smelling fresh and to deter pests. For you, they are an integral part of your personal mobile scented environment. The final layer of your aromatic armour is your hair. Remember that your hair is a separate, complex ritual that we'll get to later. For now, know that it too is scented. Your handmaidens have lightly worked fragrant oils into your hair, not to clean it, but to make it smell good and add a subtle sheen. The combination of your body oils, your pomander, the sachets in your clothes, and the scent in your hair creates an olfactory profile that is uniquely yours, a signature scent that would have been recognisable to anyone at court. This constant layering of scents is a fascinating paradox. It shows a profound concern for personal presentation, and a kind of hygiene that has nothing to do with soap and water. The goal isn't to be clean, it's to smell clean. It's an illusion, a beautiful, fragrant deception that convinces the world and perhaps even yourself that you are above the grime of daily life. The irony is, of course, that underneath all the perfume, you are still the same human being, subject to the same physical realities as everyone else. But in the world of the medieval court, perception is everything. You attend a meeting of the council. The men are all heavily scented as well, but their fragrances are different. They might favour rosemary or frankincense, scents that are associated with strength and piety. Your scent, with its floral and musky notes, is distinctly feminine and royal. The smells in the room are a complex silent dialogue, a way for everyone to announce their identity and status. It's a kind of non-verbal communication, a constant exchange of information that happens on a subconscious level. You remember once, when a foreign princess came to visit. Her scent was completely different from what you were used to. It was lighter, with a citrusy undertone that must have come from lemons and oranges she brought from a warmer climate. Her fragrance was an announcement of her exotic origins, a fragrant flag that marked her as a foreigner. The scents you wear are not just personal choices, they are political statements. Your fragrance is a reflection of your court, your resources, and your cultural identity. So, as you go about your day, receiving petitions, holding court, and attending to the 1,000 little details of running a kingdom, you do so under a cloud of beautiful, expensive fragrance. It is a constant reminder of who you are and what you represent. It is a part of your power, an invisible extension of your crown and scepter. You're not just a queen who happens to smell good. You're a queen whose smell is an integral part of her regality. And you understand that in a world where true cleanliness is a rare luxury, the ability to smell clean is a form of magic, a kind of spell that you cast on everyone you meet. The morning's rituals have made you feel presentable, a fragrant island in a sea of medieval aromas. But the truly social aspect of the bathing ritual is yet to come. It's not a solitary affair, it's a performance, a way to build bonds, and even a form of diplomacy. Today, a noblewoman from a powerful neighbouring family has arrived at the castle to discuss a potential alliance, and your first act of welcome is to invite her to share your bath. This might sound utterly bizarre to you, a breach of every social norm, but to a medieval queen, it is a grand gesture of trust and intimacy. The servants are already preparing the chamber, the same one you used earlier, but this time with 2 sets of towels, 2 bowls of herbs, and 2 stools by the side of the tub. The tub itself is large enough to comfortably fit 2 people. A mainstream historical fact is that communal bathing was a common practice across social classes, not just for royalty. It was a time for conversation, for sharing gossip, and for conducting private, unrecorded business. For the nobility, it was a way to show a lack of suspicion. By sharing a vulnerable, unclothed moment, you were saying, "I trust you implicitly." Your guest arrives, accompanied by her own handmaidens. The room, already warm with the steam from the newly filled tub, is suddenly filled with the scent of her own perfumes. She smiles and bows, and you both begin to disrobe with the assistance of your attendants. This is a moment of profound social manoeuvring. You are both on display not just for your own handmaidens, but for each other. You must project confidence and an air of relaxed ease, even though every muscle in your body is tense with the weight of the political stakes. As you both step into the warm, fragrant water, you can feel the tension begin to ease. The steam and the floral scents are a kind of social lubricant. You begin to talk, not about the weighty matters of state, but about the mundane details of daily life. The latest embroidery techniques, a recent jousting tournament, the state of the harvest. This small talk is a necessary prelude to the more serious conversation to come. Historians still argue whether these seemingly trivial conversations were a deliberate strategy to disarm political rivals, or if they were a genuine reflection of the topics that preoccupied noblewomen. Was the bath a stage for political theatre, or a rare moment of genuine connection? You lean back against the wooden tub, and the rose petals drift across the surface of the water, a beautiful, fragrant backdrop for a delicate dance of power. The handmaidens are also a part of this ritual. They move around the tub, offering you bowls of herbal infusions to drink, or lightly rubbing your shoulders with a soft cloth. Their presence is a kind of silent choreography, a constant, gentle reminder of your status. They are a buffer, a way to maintain a certain distance even in this intimate setting. You're both naked, but you are not truly alone. This communal bath is a paradox, a private moment that is, in every sense, public. A quirky tidbit you've learned from your own handmaidens is that the choice of herbs in a shared bath could also be a subtle signal. If you wanted to show a guest that you valued their friendship above all else, you might use herbs like lavender, which was associated with peace and tranquility. If you were a bit more guarded, you might choose something like sage or rue, which were believed to ward off evil spirits and protect against ill intent. The very scent of the water is part of the conversation, a non-verbal message that complements your words. As the conversation progresses, it naturally turns to the reason for her visit, the alliance. You begin to discuss the terms, the dowry, the strategic implications. But the conversation is different here, in the bath, than it would be in a formal council room. The lack of clothing, the shared warmth of the water, and the gentle atmosphere break down some of the usual barriers. You find yourselves being more direct, more open. The bath is a space of honesty, or at least a space that gives the illusion of it. You discuss the strengths of your respective armies, the value of your lands, and the potential threats from other kingdoms. The conversation flows easily, punctuated by the quiet movements of the handmaidens. The bath, you realise, is a masterstroke of diplomacy. It is a way to get to the heart of the matter without the pomp and ceremony of a formal meeting. It allows you to see your potential ally not just as a political figure, but as a person, You can see the faint scar on her shoulder, the way her eyes crinkle when she laughs, the way she holds her breath when she's thinking deeply. The physical intimacy of the bath is a mirror for the political intimacy you're trying to build. You're both exposed, both vulnerable, and you're both trusting each other to be honourable in this moment. The bath is a test of character, a kind of trial by water. You're judging her not just on her words, but on her demeanour in this unusual revealing setting. Is she tense? Does she avoid eye contact? Or is she as relaxed as she appears? You are doing the same. The water begins to cool and the conversation winds down. You have come to a tentative agreement on the terms of the alliance. The political dance is over, at least for now. You both stand with the help of your handmaidens and are wrapped in thick towels. The sense of shared experience, of a bond forged in water and steam, is palpable. As you're dressed in your fresh robes, you feel a new sense of connection to this woman. You're not just negotiating with a noble from a foreign land, you are negotiating with someone you have shared a bath with. The final act of the ritual is a shared meal, a light breakfast of bread, cheese and wine which is brought to the chamber. You eat and talk, the conversation now completely relaxed, the official business done. The bath has served its purpose. It has been a stage for a delicate diplomatic negotiation, a way to build trust, and a moment of genuine human connection in a world of formality and artifice. You realise that the bathing ritual, far from being just about cleanliness, is a key part of your power as a queen. It is a tool of diplomacy, a social institution, and a way to navigate the complex web of relationships that define your life. As you bid your guest goodbye, you feel a quiet satisfaction. The alliance seems more likely now. The seeds of trust have been planted. And it all happened in a bathtub surrounded by rose petals and scented steam, with the silent assistance of your handmaidens. You're left with the lingering scent of her perfume and the warmth of a successful negotiation. The day has just begun, and you have already secured a major victory, all before your first official meeting. You have successfully navigated the political and social currents of the communal bath, and for a fleeting moment you feel a quiet sense of triumph. But as the warmth of the tub fades and your skin begins to cool, you're reminded of a darker, more serious side to this ritual. The water, so luxurious and comforting just moments ago, could also be a source of danger. The bathing ritual, far from being a purely beneficial practice, was a gamble with your health, a complex mix of medicinal belief, superstition, and plain old risk. A mainstream historical fact is that the water used for bathing was often drawn from a well or a nearby river, a source that was almost certainly not pristine. Even with the boiling in large cauldrons, there was no guarantee that all contaminants were killed. The tubs themselves were made of wood, and while they were lined with linen to prevent splinters, they were notoriously difficult to clean and sanitize. You remember a handmaiden once showing you a dark, murky stain on the inside of the tub, a testament to the fact that no matter how much they scrubbed, a certain level of grime was simply a part of the medieval world. And this grime was a breeding ground for invisible dangers. You recline on a divan while your handmaidens massage your arms and legs with the fragrant oils, and you can't help but think about the last time you felt unwell after a bath. It was a few months ago. You had a low fever and a persistent cough for days. The court physician, a solemn man with a knowledge of herbs and a firm belief in the four humours, had attributed it to a chilling of the blood from being in the water too long. He prescribed a course of bitter herbal remedies and advised a period of rest. But you, in the quiet moments of your own thought, wondered if the illness was something else, something that came from the water itself. Historians still argue whether medieval physicians understood the link between unsanitary water and the spread of disease, or if their explanations were just a product of the limited scientific knowledge of the time. Was the illness a result of a physical ailment, or was it the consequence of a contaminated soak? The herbs you so casually enjoy in your bath also carry their own risks. You watch as a handmaiden prepares a small poultice of feverfew and willow bark, herbs that your physician has decreed will ward off illness. These are not just for scent, they are for their purported medicinal properties. A quirky tidbit you've learned is that some of the herbal concoctions used in baths were so potent that they could cause skin rashes or allergic reactions. Your handmaidens know this, and they have a finely tuned sense of which herbs you can tolerate and which ones you should avoid. The bath is a kind of experiment, a a constant adjustment of ingredients to find the right balance between therapeutic benefit and potential harm. You have heard whispered stories of queens who suffered from severe skin ailments, their delicate skin inflamed and peeling from a potent, ill-advised herbal mixture. The very act of submerging your body in hot water for an extended period of time was also seen as a potential risk. Physicians believed that it opened the pores, making the body susceptible to the evil humours and bad air that were thought to cause illness. This is why the post-bath ritual of anointing with oil and wrapping in warm clothes was so critical. It was a way to close the pores, to seal the body and protect it from the dangers of the outside world. It was a kind of a medical closing ceremony, a last line of defence against the invisible forces of sickness. You're now in your softest dressing gown, and a handmaiden brings you a cup of mulled wine, a soothing, warming concoction meant to calm your nerves and protect you from a chill. Every step of the ritual, from the moment the hot water is poured to the last sip of your wine, is a calculated risk, a series of actions designed to weigh the benefits of cleanliness against the dangers of the elements. It's a fine line to walk, and you're entirely dependent on the knowledge and skill of your handmaidens and your physician to navigate it. You think back to the last bath you took. A handmaiden had added a particularly pungent herb to the water, something that was meant to cure a headache you were suffering from. The scent was overpowering, and the water left your skin with a slight tingling sensation. The headache did go away, but it was replaced by a strange, itchy rash on your back that lasted for days. The cure, you realised, was almost as bad as the ailment, and in the world of medieval medicine this was a common occurrence. You were a subject of these constant low-grade medical experiments, your body the testing ground for remedies that were based on tradition, superstition, and a tiny bit of empirical observation. You close your eyes and listen to the sounds of the castle. The wind howls outside the window, the fire in the hearth crackles, and the handmaidens are murmuring quietly as they put away the last of the bath paraphernalia. You feel a strange mix of gratitude and anxiety. You are grateful for the warmth and comfort of the ritual, for the brief escape it provides. But you're also anxious about the unseen dangers that might have been lurking in the water, in the herbs, or even in the air. The bathing ritual is not just a luxury. It is a testament to the resilience of your body, a test of your constitution, a constant reminder that even a queen is not immune to the fundamental realities of the medieval world. This sense of risk and uncertainty is a constant companion in your life. You're surrounded by beauty and luxury, but underneath it all there is a certain fragility. The food you eat, the clothes you wear, and even the water you bathe in could be a source of sickness. Your handmaidens are your protectors, your human shields against a world that is fundamentally hostile to the human body. And the bath, the one place where you feel most vulnerable, is the place where their work is most critical. You're not just being cleaned, you're being protected. The ritual is a kind of magical rite, a series of actions meant to ward off evil and illness, a desperate attempt to exert some control over a world that is, by and large, completely unpredictable. You finally drift off into a light doze, the lingering scent of the herbs and the fear of the invisible dangers mingling in your dreams. The post-bath rest is a moment of quiet contemplation, a brief lull before the maelstrom of your day begins in earnest. As you lie there, warmed by your robes and the lingering effects of the bath, you realise something profound about the ritual you've just performed. It was more than just a matter of hygiene or diplomacy. It was a form of communication. The timing, the duration, the choice of location, every single detail of your bath was a signal, a secret language spoken to your court and your subjects. You remember the time you were negotiating a sensitive political matter with a particularly arrogant lord. The discussions had been dragging on for days, and his constant posturing was becoming tiresome. So you sent a message to him, inviting him to a private meeting. But the message also mentioned, with casual precision, the exact time you would be taking your morning bath. This was the signal. A mainstream historical fact is that a queen's daily schedule was a public document, and deviations from it were noticed and commented on. By taking your bath at a different, earlier time than usual, you were sending a clear message. I am ready for this to be over. I am preparing for a new phase. The signal was not a direct threat, but a subtle show of impatience, and a way of asserting control over the pace of the negotiation. The Lord understood immediately. He arrived at your chambers, having rushed through his own morning routine, and the meeting was shorter, more direct, and ultimately successful. The bath was a way to set the tempo of your day, a tool of subtle psychological warfare. It was a secret language, one that was understood by those who paid close attention. A quirky tidbit you've learned from your time as queen is about the use of scented oils and their connection to your mood. On days when you're feeling ill or out of sorts, you instruct your handmaidens to use a strong, earthy scent like sandalwood. This is a quiet message to your court that you're not to be trifled with, that you're in a sombre and serious mood. On days when you're feeling confident and happy, you choose a light floral scent like rosewater. This signals a more open, jovial mood. The scent, as we've seen, is a part of your armour, and it changes depending on the message you want to send. The public spectacle of a queen's cleanliness was also a form of communication. When you had to meet with a foreign dignitary, you would take your bath just before the meeting, and you would choose a fragrance that was known to be a favourite of the dignitary's culture. This was a subtle gesture of respect and welcome. You remember a French duke who was so charmed by the scent of your bath, a delicate mix of lavender and jasmine, a popular combination in his country, that he mentioned it to his own chroniclers. You were not just a queen, you were a master of non-verbal communication, a conductor of a subtle symphony of signals. Historians still argue whether the elaborate nature of these rituals was a conscious effort to create a new form of communication, or if it was just a natural byproduct of a world without telephones or written records of every meeting. Were you deliberately manipulating your court with the timing of your bath? Or was it just a convenient way to get a message across? You, in the privacy of your own mind, know that it was a bit of both. You understood the power of these rituals and you used them to your advantage. You think about the public's perception of your bathing rituals. They don't see the messy, arduous process of heating the water and scrubbing the tub. They see the result, a queen who is radiant and fragrant, a living testament to the divine order of the world. Your cleanliness is not just a personal matter, it is a political statement. A dirty queen would be a sign of a kingdom in disarray. A clean, fragrant queen is a sign of a strong, prosperous kingdom. Your body, in this sense, is a public canvas, a reflection of the health and well-being of your entire realm. There was a time when a terrible rumour had spread through the court that you were suffering from a disfiguring disease. You knew it was a lie, a slander concocted by a rival, but the whispers persisted. To put an end to it, you did something extraordinary. You announced that you would be taking a public bath. Not in the Great Hall, of course, but in a small courtyard that was visible from a number of balconies. The tub was brought out, the water heated, and you bathed, not alone, but with your handmaidens and a few trusted female courtiers. It was a moment of profound public vulnerability. The message was clear. I have nothing to hide. My body is healthy and whole. The rumour was dispelled almost immediately. The sight of your clean, healthy body was more powerful than any denial you could have issued. The secret language of bathing extended even to your choice of location. Sometimes you would have your bath in a small private chamber, a signal that you were in a private, contemplative mood and should not be disturbed. Other times, you would take it in a larger, more accessible room, where you could receive petitions from your subjects while you bathed. This was a rare but powerful signal of your approachability and your willingness to listen to the concerns of your people. It was a way to break down the barriers of formality and show a more human, accessible side of your rule. You are a master of this secret language, a queen who understands that power is not just about armies and laws, but about the subtle, non-verbal signals that you send to the world. And the bathing ritual, a seemingly simple act of personal care, is one of your most effective tools. It is a way to set the stage for your day, to send messages to your court, to quell rumours, and to assert your power. The handmaidens who assist you are not just cleaning your body, they're helping you write a narrative, one that is told in the scent of your skin, the timing of your rituals, and the warmth of the water. The gentle hum of the castle's morning activity surrounds you, a familiar backdrop to your day. You're fully dressed now, your layers of fine linen and brocade creating a warm, protective shell against the morning chill. But as you walk to your study, your mind lingers on the herbal scents of your recent bath, the subtle but powerful aromas that filled the room. These plants, you know, were more than just pleasant-smelling additions. They were a vital part of your health and well-being, a tangible link between the earth and the royal body. This is where the world of herbal lore and rudimentary medicine collide, creating a complex system of belief and practice. Your chief physician, a man who has an encyclopedic knowledge of every plant that grows in the royal gardens, has a theory for everything. He believes that the body is a delicate balance of 4 humours: blood, yellow bile, black bile, and phlegm. A mainstream historical fact is that this theory, known as humouralism, was the dominant medical framework in Europe for over 1,000 years. Every ailment, from a common cold to a fever, was seen as an imbalance of these humours, and the cure was to restore that balance. The herbs in your bath were a way of doing just that. You recall a time when you were feeling sluggish and melancholic, and your physician prescribed a bath infused with rosemary and sage. The rosemary, he explained, was a hot herb, meant to warm the body and increase the flow of blood. The sage was a dry herb, used to counteract the excess of phlegm. A quirky tidbit you've learned from these sessions is that every plant has its own personality, its own humoral signature. Rose petals are cool and wet, good for soothing a fever. Willow bark is cool and dry, a natural painkiller. The bath is a kind of living pharmacy, a way to administer medicine through the skin. This belief in the power of plants extends beyond medicine and into the realm of the supernatural. Your handmaidens often add herbs to the bath that have no known medicinal properties, but are believed to have magical powers. They might add sprigs of rue to ward off the evil eye, or a handful of mugwort to protect you from bad dreams. This is a quiet, unspoken practice, a concession to the deep-seated superstitions of your court. Historians still argue whether the use of these magical herbs was a genuine belief on the part of the Queen and her attendants, or if it was a clever way to assuage the fears of the court and project an image of a queen who was in touch with the mystical forces of the world. Were you using magic, or were you just a master of perception? You, in your heart, know that the line between science and superstition is a thin one in your time, and you're happy to use whatever works. You think about the countless hours the herbalists spend in the royal gardens, meticulously tending to the plants that will eventually find their way into your bath. They are the true architects of your well-being. They know which plants to harvest and at what time of day, a knowledge that has been passed down through generations. The herbs are not just grown, they're cultivated with a reverence that borders on religious. The quality of your bath, in many ways, is a reflection of the health of your kingdom's gardens. A bad harvest of lavender or mint would be a minor tragedy, a sign of a bad year to come. The process of preparing the herbs is as meticulous as their cultivation. They must be dried in a specific way, stored in a cool, dark place, and mixed in precise quantities. The handmaidens who prepare your bath have a deeper understanding of these mixtures than you do. They are the quiet masters of this arcane science, and you trust them implicitly. The bath is a testament to their knowledge and their skill. You remember once, when a travelling merchant brought you a strange exotic spice from the Far East. It was said to have miraculous healing properties. Against the advice of your physician, you had a handful of it added to your bath. The water turned a strange murky colour, and the smell was pungent and unfamiliar. You felt a strange tingling sensation on your skin, and you emerged from the bath with a slight rash. The spice, you later learned, was a powerful irritant, and its healing properties were nothing more than a marketing ploy. You never trusted a foreign remedy again. You learned that the true wisdom lies in the plants that have grown on your land for centuries, the ones whose properties are known and trusted. Your bath, then, is a reflection of this deep connection to the land. The water comes from your well, the herbs from your gardens, and the knowledge from the generations of people who have lived and worked on your land. You're not just a queen, you're a product of your environment. Your health and your well-being are inextricably linked to the health of your kingdom. The bath is a way to nourish that connection, to draw on the power of the land to sustain your body and your spirit. As you sit down at your writing desk to sign the day's edicts, you feel a lingering warmth in your limbs, a subtle sense of peace. It's the effect of the bath, you know, and the herbs that were used in it. It's a kind of magic, a quiet, powerful spell that has been cast on your body. You're not just a ruler of men, you're a child of the earth, and the bath is your daily communion with the plants and the water that sustain you. You have spent the morning thus far in the private, intimate world of your chambers, but now it is time to face the court. As you're finally dressed in the elaborate multi-layered garments of your station, you realise that your appearance is not just a personal matter, it is a public statement. Your radiant, fragrant form is a meticulously crafted work of art, a symbol of your power and the health of your kingdom. The public spectacle of your purity is a crucial part of your reign, a form of political theatre that is as important as any treaty you might sign. As you sweep into the great hall, the air, already thick with the sense of the crowd, is immediately altered by the cloud of perfume that surrounds you. All eyes turn to you. They see not a woman who has just been scrubbed with a coarse cloth and a bit of ash, but a queen who is immaculate, a personage whose very existence seems to transcend the dirt and grime of the world. This is the goal of the entire ritual, to create an illusion of effortless perfection. A mainstream historical fact is that a monarch's public appearance was a carefully managed tool of propaganda. The clothes they wore, the food they ate, and the cleanliness of their person were all signals to the public about the stability and prosperity of their rule. A queen who appeared sickly or unkempt would have been a sign of a kingdom in decline. Your appearance is also a symbol of your divine right to rule. It is believed that a queen's body is more than just flesh and bone. It is a sacred vessel, and its purity is a reflection of God's favour. Your cleanliness is not just a result of hard work. It is a sign that you are blessed. A quirky tidbit you've learned is that some chroniclers would even describe a queen's skin as being whiter than snow, or brighter than the moon. Poetic exaggerations that were meant to reinforce this idea of a divinely blessed body. The goal was to make you seem not just clean, but superhumanly so. Historians still argue whether the focus on a queen's public appearance was a genuine reflection of societal values, or if it was a deliberate strategy on the part of the monarchy to maintain power and control. Was your purity a deeply held belief, or was it just a very effective form of public relations? You know that for you it is both. You believe in the power of your position, but you're also acutely aware of the need to manage public perception. You are a living symbol, and your body is the canvas. You take your place on the throne, a position that elevates you above the crowd, and you can see how they are all taking you in. The foreign dignitaries, the local lords, the courtiers and the petitioners, they're all looking at you, and they're all making judgments. They see the pristine linen of your inner shift peeking out from under your silk gown. They see the subtle sheen of the oils on your skin. They smell the expensive perfume that floats around you like a halo. And they are all reassured. They're reassured that their kingdom is in good hands, that their queen is strong, healthy, and blessed by God. The public perception of your purity is so important that you even have to manage the cleanliness of your retinue. Your handmaidens are dressed in clean, well-kept clothes. They are also lightly scented, a reflection of your own fragrance. They are an extension of your own public image, a kind of fragrant entourage that announces your approach. A dirty or unkempt handmaiden would be a black mark against your reputation, a sign of a slovenly household. You remember having to dismiss a handmaiden once because she was not diligent enough in her personal hygiene. It was a difficult decision, but a necessary one. The public spectacle of purity was too important to be compromised. The public also knows that a queen's purity is a reflection of her moral character. A clean body is a sign of a clean soul. A queen who is diligent about her personal hygiene is a queen who is diligent about her duties to God and her kingdom. This moral dimension adds another layer of meaning to the bathing ritual. It is not just about being clean, it is about being good. It is a way to project an image of piety and virtue, a crucial part of your royal identity. You spend the rest of the day holding court, listening to petitions, and attending to the 1,000 little details of your reign. And throughout it all, you are a walking, talking, breathing testament to the power of a well-managed public image. You know that you are not as clean as you appear to be. You know that the perfume is masking a certain level of grime. You know that the entire spectacle is a beautiful, necessary lie. But it is a lie that everyone is willing to believe. It is a lie that makes them feel safe and secure. It is a lie that allows you to rule. And so, as the day draws to a close and you finally return to your chambers, you feel a sense of exhaustion, not just from the day's duties, but from the constant performance. You have been a living symbol all day, a beautiful, fragrant lie. But you know that this performance is essential. It is what keeps you on the throne. It is what keeps your kingdom prosperous. It is what makes you a queen. And in the end, that is all that matters. You will begin the ritual again tomorrow, and you will once again step out into the light, a living testament to the power of a public spectacle of purity. You have performed your public duties, and now, as the sun dips below the horizon, you return to the quiet intimacy of your chambers. The castle, once a bustling hive of activity, begins to settle into a hushed stillness. But your day is not yet over. You have one final ritual to perform, a ritual that is far more about comfort and rest than it is about cleanliness. This evening's bathing is not for the court, it is for you. You instruct your handmaidens to prepare the bath, but with a different purpose in mind. This is not about scrubbing away the day's grime or creating a public spectacle of purity. This is about soothing your tired body, calming your mind, and preparing for sleep. The water is heated again, but this time the process feels less hurried, more gentle. The handmaidens move with a quiet reverence, their footsteps barely audible on the stone floor. They are preparing not a bath, but a sacred space for rest. A mainstream historical fact is that the evening bath, often referred to as a soak or a warm wash, was a common practice for the upper classes, and it was primarily used for relaxation rather than hygiene. The water, often infused with soothing herbs like chamomile or lavender, was meant to ease the aches and pains of a long day spent in heavy robes and restrictive corsets. You can feel the tension in your shoulders and back, a familiar ache that comes from a day spent sitting upright on the throne and managing the affairs of the court. The thought of sinking into the warm water is a promise of relief. Your handmaidens do not bring the coarse scrubbing cloth tonight. Instead, they bring a softer, finer linen and a bowl of warm, perfumed water. As you disrobe, they gently wipe down your arms and legs, a kind of pre-bath cleansing that is more about comfort than it is about being thorough. This is a quiet moment of personal care, a chance to let go of the day's stresses and simply be. The focus is on the act itself, the gentle touch of your handmaidens, the warmth of the water, and the soothing scent of the herbs. You step into the tub and sigh, letting the warmth envelop you. The herbs tonight are different. You requested chamomile and valerian root, a combination known for its calming properties. The water is lightly scented, but not overpoweringly so. It's a subtle fragrance that promises a good night's sleep. A quirky tidbit you've learned from your physician is that the medieval belief in the medicinal properties of plants extended even to their effects on sleep. Valerian root, a plant that grows wild in the fields around your castle, was believed to have a special power to soothe the nerves and bring on a deep restorative sleep. It's a natural remedy, one that has been used for centuries, and you trust its gentle power. The handmaidens do not scrub you tonight. Instead, they simply pour the warm water over your shoulders and back, their movements slow and deliberate. They talk to you in soft, hushed tones, asking about your day, sharing small bits of castle gossip, a kind of gentle, sleepy conversation that helps you to unwind. This is a moment of shared intimacy, a chance for you to let down your guard and simply be a woman, not a queen. Historians still argue whether this evening bath was a genuine moment of relaxation, or if it was a final, secretive opportunity for a queen to receive private news and information from her handmaidens. Was the bath a tool for political espionage, a place where a queen could gather intelligence without the prying ears of her courtiers? You know that while the primary purpose is rest, you have certainly used it for this very reason. The soft murmur of your handmaidens' voices is often a cover for the real information they are passing on to you, a quiet update on a courtier's illness or a messenger's arrival. The bath is a place of profound relaxation, but it is also a place where you are never truly off duty. The bath tonight is shorter than your morning ritual. It's not about a thorough cleaning, it's about a quick rinse, a way to wash away the stress of the day. You don't get out of the tub feeling scrubbed clean. You get out feeling soft and loose-limbed, ready for a long, deep sleep. Your handmaidens wrap you in a soft linen towel and then a thick, warm woolen robe. They don't anoint you with fragrant oils tonight. Instead, they rub a simple, unperfumed oil on your hands and feet, a final, soothing touch before bed. You're now ready for the final leg of your day's journey. Your handmaidens lead you to your bed, which has been turned down and warmed with a heated stone. The bed hangings are pulled shut and the last of the candles are snuffed out. The room is now dark and still, and you are surrounded by a profound and gentle silence. The only sounds are the crackling of the fire in the hearth, and the soft, even breathing of your handmaidens, who will sleep in the outer chamber, a silent, watchful presence. You're not a queen tonight. You're just a woman, tired and ready for sleep. The bath has served its purpose. It has been a bridge between the public world of your day and the private world of your dreams. It has washed away not the grime, but the stress and anxiety of your reign. And as you drift off, you are grateful for this simple, soothing ritual, a final, gentle end to a long, complicated day. You're now in the gentle liminal space between waking and sleeping, but a part of your mind still lingers on the day's rituals. Your mind drifts to the objects that were so central to the bathing process, the forgotten tools of the trade that were handled by your handmaidens. These weren't the luxurious items you might imagine, but simple, often reused objects that speak volumes about the realities of medieval life. They are the silent partners in your hygiene, and they have a story to tell. The tub itself is a marvel of rustic engineering. Made of sturdy oak staves, it is heavy and cumbersome, requiring several handmaidens to move it. It's lined with a thick linen cloth, which is meticulously washed and reused for every bath. The purpose of this lining is to prevent splinters, yes, but it also makes the tub itself easier to clean. Without the cloth, the porous wood would absorb the dirt and grime, making it a nightmare to sanitize. This cloth lining is a small but critical detail, a testament to the ingenuity of a world where convenience was a distant dream. A mainstream historical fact is that wooden tubs were the norm for royalty and the wealthy. Porcelain or metal tubs were not in common use for centuries to come. The very idea of a modern bathtub with its sleek, non-porous surface would have been a fantastical vision. Then there are the sponges. You've seen them countless times, held in the hands of your handmaidens. They are not the soft synthetic sponges we know today. They are natural sea sponges, brought to your castle by merchants from the Mediterranean. They are prized for their softness, but they are also a logistical nightmare. They are difficult to clean and sanitize, and they are prone to falling apart with repeated use. A quirky tidbit you've learned from your handmaidens is that a queen sponge was often a personal item, something that was used only on her, and it was a mark of her status to have a new one brought for each bathing ritual. A lesser noble might have to share a sponge with their family, but for you, it is a personal luxury, a small but significant sign of your wealth. The soap, as we've discussed, is a far cry from what you might use today. It is a coarse mixture of animal fat and ash, often made by the castle's own staff. It doesn't lather much, and it leaves a slightly greasy film on your skin, but it gets the job done. Your handmaidens rub it onto the scrubbing cloths, and they use a surprising amount of elbow grease to get you clean. This simple soap is a reminder that in your time, cleanliness is a function of labour, not of products. You can't just buy a new bottle of soap from the market. You have to rely on the hard work of the people who make it from scratch. Historians still argue whether the medieval period's lack of hygiene was a result of a lack of knowledge or a lack of resources. Were they dirty because they didn't know how to be clean? Or were they dirty because the tools and resources for cleanliness were so difficult to acquire? You, in your semi-conscious state, know the answer. It is a bit of both. The knowledge of hygiene was limited, but the logistics were the real problem. A full bath for a queen required the labour of dozens of people, from the water carriers to the herb gatherers to the soap makers. It was a production, not a simple act. The tools also include the small decorative bottles that hold your oils and perfumes. These are often made of glass, a precious commodity in your time, and they are carved with intricate designs. They are not just functional objects, they are works of art. A handmaiden might spend hours carefully cleaning and polishing them, and they are a source of pride for the entire retinue. They are a tangible sign of your wealth and your access to the finer things in life. You remember a time when a foreign ambassador presented you with a small bottle of perfume made of pure crystal, and it was a gift that was as valuable as any jewel. The softest linen cloths, used for patting your skin dry after the bath, are also a crucial part of the toolkit. These cloths are often embroidered with your personal crest or a symbol of your family. They are not just towels, they are symbols of your identity. They are soft and absorbent, a welcome contrast to the coarse scrubbing cloths. They are the final gentle touch that completes the ritual, a soft, luxurious ending to a process that is, at its heart, an act of hard work. The tools of your bathing ritual are a microcosm of the medieval world. They are a mix of the practical and the luxurious, the rustic and the refined. They are a reflection of a society that is short on resources but long on labour and ingenuity. They are a constant reminder that your comfort is a product of the hard work of many people, and that even the simplest act of personal care is a testament to the complex social and economic systems that support your reign. As you finally drift into a deep sleep, you feel a quiet gratitude for the handmaidens, for the sea sponges, for the wooden tub, and for all the forgotten tools of the trade that make your life as a queen possible. You wake up feeling refreshed, the deep restorative sleep of the night before having worked its magic. As your handmaidens begin the morning ritual, you're reminded that the scents of your world are not just about personal preference or masking odours. They are about power. The politics of scent are as complex and as important as the politics of marriage and land, and your chosen fragrance is a key part of your royal identity, a silent, powerful tool of diplomacy and social manoeuvring. You're preparing for a visit from a rival duke, a man whose ambition is a constant threat to your reign. You cannot simply wear a generic fragrance. You must choose a scent that is both welcoming and subtly intimidating. Your handmaidens present you with a small carved wooden box, and you select a pomander filled with a potent, musky scent. This is not a subtle fragrance. It is a bold, assertive aroma that is meant to command attention. It has notes of frankincense and myrrh, scents that are associated with the church and with a kind of holy power. This is a deliberate choice. You are a queen, and your power is not just political, it is spiritual. A mainstream historical fact is that scents like frankincense and myrrh were highly valued and often used in religious ceremonies, so their presence in a personal fragrance would have been a clear statement of piety and authority. You also choose a scent that is known to be a favourite of your husband, the king. This is a subtle signal to the duke that you are in a united front with your husband, that you're not a weak link he can exploit. The scent is a kind of fragrant alliance, a non-verbal way of saying, you're not just dealing with me, you're dealing with the crown. A quirky tidbit you've learned is that some queens would have a signature scent that was so unique that it would be immediately recognisable. You've heard stories of nobles who could tell when the queen was approaching just by the scent that preceded her, a kind of fragrant announcement of her arrival. As you move through the castle, your handmaidens carry censers filled with fragrant incense, a kind of preemptive strike against the less pleasant odours of the castle. The air around you is thick with these scents, a kind of scented cloud that separates you from the rest of the court. This is not just for your comfort, it is a way to create a physical and metaphorical barrier between you and your subjects. You are a person apart, and your scent is a constant reminder of that fact. Historians still argue whether the royal use of scent was a deliberate strategy to reinforce social hierarchies, or if it was just a natural byproduct of wealth and access to expensive ingredients. Were you using scent to remind everyone of your superiority, or were you just a woman who enjoyed a beautiful perfume? You, in your heart, know that the two are not mutually exclusive. You enjoy the luxury of your fragrance, but you're also acutely aware of its political power. The Duke arrives, and you greet him in the great hall. The air in the hall is a cacophony of different scents. The smell of wood smoke, the aroma of a boar roasting on a spit, and the various less expensive perfumes of your courtiers. But as you approach, your scent cuts through it all. It is a powerful, undeniable statement. The Duke bows, and as he rises you can see a flicker of recognition in his eyes. He has smelled your scent, and he has understood your message. He knows that he is not dealing with a simple queen, but with a formidable political force. The politics of scent extend even to the gifts you give. When you want to show favour to a foreign dignitary, you don't just give them a bag of gold or a piece of jewellery. You give them a small, beautifully crafted vial of your personal fragrance. This is a deeply personal gift, a way to show that you are offering them a piece of yourself. It is a sign of profound respect and a desire for a deeper, more personal alliance. When you want to send a more subtle message, you might give a dignitary a less expensive, more common fragrance, a quiet way of saying that your relationship with them is purely business. You also use scent to send messages to your own court. When a courtier has been particularly disloyal, you might instruct your handmaidens to wear a pungent, unpleasant scent when they are in their presence. This is a quiet, non-verbal way of showing your displeasure, a kind of fragrant shunning that everyone at court would understand. It is a passive-aggressive form of communication, a subtle way of making your feelings known without ever having to say a word. The politics of scent are a constant, invisible dance that you are always performing. Every fragrance you choose, every pomander you wear, and every censer you light is a part of a larger, complex narrative. It is a language that everyone at court understands, and it is a language that you have mastered. The scent that surrounds you is not just a pleasant aroma. It is a shield, a weapon, and a tool of diplomacy. It is a part of your power, and it is a part of who you are. As the day with the Duke progresses, You are acutely aware of the scents that are being exchanged. He has a light citrusy scent, a sign of his Mediterranean origins. It is a pleasant, but ultimately less powerful, fragrance than your own. You know that you have won the first battle, the battle of scents, and in your world that is a victory that is as important as any military one. You are a queen, and you are scented for power. Your life as a queen is not confined to the stone walls of your castle. The demands of your kingdom often require you to travel, to visit remote provinces, to meet with vassals and to inspect your lands. And with you, your entire household, including your elaborate bathing ritual, must come along. The travelling royal bathhouse is a logistical marvel, a testament to the fact that even on the road, a queen's purity and power must be maintained. The journey begins with a massive multi-day preparation. The wooden tub is disassembled, its staves and iron bands carefully packed into a special wagon. The large bronze cauldrons for heating water are cleaned and secured. The handmaidens have already prepared and packed the necessary herbs, oils and cloths, their precious cargo nestled in padded chests to prevent breakage. A mainstream historical fact is that a medieval royal household on the move was a monumental undertaking, often stretching for miles and requiring a small army of servants and guards. Your travelling bathhouse is just one small part of this massive procession. As you trudge along the muddy, rutted roads in your carriage, you are constantly reminded of the challenges of travel. The journey is slow and bumpy, and you arrive at your destination, a small, draughty hunting lodge, feeling tired and dusty. The first order of business is to set up your bath. The lodge, a simple structure of wood and stone, is a far cry from the luxurious chambers of your castle, and the handmaidens have to work with what they have. They find a suitable room, preferably one with a large hearth, and they begin the familiar dance of preparation. The process of heating the water is even more difficult here than it is at the castle. The lodge has no well, so a team of servants has to fetch water from a nearby river, a source that is even less clean than your castle's well. The water is heated over an open fire, and the entire room fills with the smell of wood smoke and damp earth. There is a sense of urgency to the ritual tonight, a feeling that everyone wants to get it over with so they can rest. A quirky tidbit you've learned from your travelling handmaidens is that they often use local, wild foraged herbs to supplement the ones you brought with you. Tonight, they have found some wild mint and yarrow, and they add them to the water. The scent is different from the cultivated herbs of your garden, more pungent and raw. It's a sensory reminder that you are a visitor in this place, a stranger in a strange land. The bath, for the first time, feels less like a comfort and more like a necessity. The lack of resources also means that the bath is less luxurious. There is no linen lining for the tub, so you have to be careful to avoid the rough, splintered edges of the wood. The water is a bit murky from the river, and no matter how many herbs they add, you can still smell the faint, earthy scent of the riverbed. This is a humbling experience, a reminder that your power and your comfort are dependent on the resources around you. Historians still argue whether these travelling bathing rituals were a genuine effort to maintain hygiene, or if they were a performative act, a way to show the local populace that the Queen was still a divine, and therefore clean, being even when she was far from her capital. Was the bath a matter of personal comfort, or was it a political statement? You, in your heart, know that it is a bit of both. You need the bath to feel clean and rested, but you also know that your appearance is being watched, and that a queen who looks and smells fresh is a queen who is in control. As you sink into the warm, wild-smelling water, you feel a strange sense of displacement. You're surrounded by the unfamiliar sounds of the forest outside and the strange rustic furniture of the lodge. The bath is the only thing that feels familiar, the only thing that connects you to your home and your royal identity. It is a portable sanctuary, a small island of order in a chaotic world. The handmaidens are more efficient tonight. They know you're tired and they work quickly to get you in and out of the tub. The scrubbing is a bit more vigorous, a necessary attempt to get rid of the dust and grime of the road. You emerge from the bath feeling raw and clean, your skin tingling from the scrubbing and the strange new herbs. The anointing with oil is a welcome relief, a way to soothe your skin and prepare you for sleep. The travelling bathhouse is a testament to the power of ritual. Even in the most difficult and unfamiliar circumstances, the ritual of the bath remains a constant. It is a way to maintain a sense of normalcy, to connect with your identity, and to show the world that even on the road you're still a queen. The tub, the cauldrons, the herbs, and the handmaidens are not just tools, they are the anchors that keep you grounded in your royal identity. As you're finally wrapped in a soft, clean robe and led to a simple, unadorned bed, you feel a quiet sense of satisfaction. You have survived the day, and you have maintained your royal persona. The bath was a difficult, less luxurious version of your usual ritual, but it served its purpose. It was a bridge between the wild, untamed world of the road and the civilized, ordered world of your reign. And as you drift off to sleep, you're grateful for the familiar comfort of the nightly ritual, even in a strange new place. The hunting lodge is quiet now, the sounds of your household settling for the night. You lie in your bed, listening to the soft rustle of the leaves outside and the crackle of the fire in the hearth. Your body feels clean and refreshed, a welcome change from the dust and grime of the road. But the experience of a bath in this remote location has highlighted a fundamental truth of your world, one that is easy to forget in the comforts of your castle. Water is a precious, scarce commodity. At your main castle, the well is deep and clean, and the logistics of heating water are a daily, if difficult, routine. But here, you have seen firsthand the true value of every single drop. The servants who carried the buckets from the river were not just performing a duty, they were performing a feat of physical labour. The water was heavy, the riverbank was muddy, and the journey was long. You watched them from a distance, their faces strained with effort, and you felt a small pang of guilt. Your comfort, you realised, was a direct result of their immense labour. A mainstream historical fact is that in the medieval period, the acquisition of clean water was a major challenge for all households, from the smallest peasant cottage to the largest royal castle. The infrastructure we take for granted, pipes, faucets, a clean water supply, simply did not exist. The lack of running water shaped every aspect of your life, from your kitchen to your laundry to your personal hygiene. The water used for your bath was not just a luxury, it was a testament to the resources and labour that your household could command. A quirky tidbit you've learned from your time as queen is that the water from your bath was often saved and reused for other purposes. It might be used to wash clothes, to water the castle gardens, or even to scrub the floors. The idea of letting a perfectly good tub of water go to waste would have been unthinkable. Every drop was accounted for, every bucket was used to its fullest potential. Historians still argue whether the medieval lack of hygiene was a matter of cultural indifference or a matter of logistical impossibility. Were people dirty because they didn't care about being clean, or were they dirty because the labour and resources required for cleanliness were so immense that they were simply not worth the effort? You, having experienced both the luxury of your castle and the simplicity of the lodge, know that it is a complex mix of both. Your subjects, who have no access to a private well or a team of water carriers, would think of your bath as a fantastical dream. Their own bathing rituals, if they even have them, are a far cry from your own. They might wash their hands and face in a basin, or they might take a quick rinse in a stream on a warm day. A full, hot bath is an unimaginable luxury. The scarcity of water also had a profound effect on the value placed on it. In your world, water is not just a liquid, it is a symbol of life, of wealth, and of power. A kingdom with a clean, abundant water supply is a strong and prosperous kingdom. A kingdom with a polluted, scarce supply is in trouble. The bath, then, is a kind of public celebration of your kingdom's good fortune. It is a way of saying, we have so much water that we can afford to use it for something as frivolous as a bath. You think about the countless times you've heard petitions from your subjects asking for help with their water supply. A village whose well has run dry, a farmer whose crops have failed because of a drought, a family whose children have fallen ill from drinking contaminated water. You have on occasion even used your own royal funds to help them, but you know that it is a losing battle. The problem is too vast, the resources too limited. The bathing ritual in this context is a constant reminder of the profound inequalities of your world. You have access to clean, warm water whenever you want it, and your subjects do not. Your cleanliness is a product of their labour and their deprivation. This is a difficult truth to confront, but you know that it is a part of your reality. Your royal body, so meticulously cared for, is a symbol of a system that is fundamentally unfair. As you lie in your bed, feeling the last vestiges of warmth from the bath, you are grateful for the water, for the heat, for the labour of the handmaidens, and for all the little things that make your life as a queen possible. But you're also keenly aware of the cost. The bath is not just a personal ritual, it is a political statement. It is a symbol of your power and your privilege, and it is a constant reminder of the vast, unbridgeable gap between your world and the world of your subjects. The scarcity of water is a fundamental reality of your life, and the bath is a quiet, powerful testament to it. You have returned to your main castle, and the familiar rhythm of your life has reasserted itself. The morning bath is a much grander affair than the rustic version you experienced on the road, and you can't help but feel a sense of relief. The hot, fragrant water is a welcome comfort, a return to the luxurious norm. But the memory of your time in the hunting lodge lingers, a constant reminder of the complex realities of medieval hygiene. It's a common misconception, one that you've heard even from your own courtiers, that the Middle Ages were an era of universal filth and a total disregard for cleanliness. You've heard people whisper about the dirty peasants and the unwashed masses, as if dirtiness were an inherent characteristic of the time period itself. This is a profound and damaging myth, and your own experience as a queen tells a much more nuanced story. A mainstream historical fact is that while daily full-body bathing was not the norm for most people, medieval societies were far from ignorant about hygiene. They understood the importance of washing hands and face, and they used a variety of methods to keep themselves and their homes clean. The people who work in your castle, for example, have a strict regimen of cleanliness. The cooks and kitchen staff are required to wash their hands before and during food preparation. The laundresses use lye soap and fresh water to wash the castle's linens. The cleaners use brooms and rushes to keep the floors free of debris. They may not have the same tools as we do today, but they are far from ignorant about the basics of sanitation. A quirky tidbit you've learned from the castle staff is that they have a specific ritual for cleaning the latrines, using a combination of ash and water to keep them from becoming a source of disease. The idea that medieval people were just comfortable with being dirty is a complete fabrication. Historians still argue whether the historical record has been unfairly biased against the medieval period. Is our modern obsession with daily cleanliness blinding us to the realities of a time when resources were scarce and life was short? Is it fair to judge a culture by our own standards? You know that it is not. The people of your time are just as concerned with their health and well-being as we are, and they use the tools and knowledge they have to the best of their ability. Their methods might seem strange or unsanitary to us, but they are a product of their environment. Your own bathing ritual is a prime example of this. It is not a daily affair, but it is a regular one. It is not a quick scrub in the shower, but it is a multi-hour, multi-step process that is a testament to the importance you place on cleanliness. The ritual is a way of showing your court that you're not one of the dirty masses, but you also know that it is a rare luxury. You're keenly aware that most of your subjects do not have access to a full, hot bath, and that their methods of staying clean are different from your own. You think about the public bathhouses that exist in some of the larger cities in your kingdom. These are not just places for bathing, they are social centres, places where people can meet, talk and relax. They are a sign that cleanliness is not just a personal matter, but a community one. The people who go to these bathhouses are not the dirty masses you've heard about. They are merchants and artisans and labourers who are taking a moment to care for themselves and to connect with their community. The myth of the dirty Middle Ages, you realise, is a narrative that has been written by people who do not understand the complexities of your world. The people of your time have a profound respect for water, and they use it sparingly and with purpose. They understand that a clean river is a source of life, and a dirty one is a source of disease. They might not understand the germ theory of disease, but they understand the link between clean water and good health. Their knowledge is based on observation and experience, and it is just as valid as our own. As you're finally wrapped in a soft, clean towel after your bath, you feel a sense of deep satisfaction. You're clean, yes, but you're also a living testament to the fact that the myth of the dirty Middle Ages is just that, a myth. The world you live in is a complex, nuanced place, and the people in it are intelligent, resourceful, and just as concerned with their own well-being as we are. The bath is not just about personal hygiene, it is about a different kind of understanding, a different kind of respect for the world around you. You're a queen, and you are clean, but you're also a product of a world that has a very different relationship with water and cleanliness. The myth of the dirty Middle Ages may be just that, a myth, But there is one aspect of your personal hygiene that is even more complex and fraught with ritual than your bathing: your hair. Your hair is not just hair. It is a symbol of your femininity, your status, and your power. It is, in essence, your crown, and it is treated with a reverence that borders on religious. The rituals for cleaning and styling it are completely separate from your body bath, a distinct ceremony that is performed with meticulous care and a profound understanding of its symbolic importance. The process begins with the unbraiding. Your handmaidens work together to carefully loosen the elaborate braids and pins that hold your hair in place. The unbraiding is not a quick affair. It can take a half hour or more, a testament to the sheer volume and length of a queen's hair. A mainstream historical fact is that a queen's hair was rarely, if ever, cut. It was a sign of her beauty and her station, and it was allowed to grow to its full, magnificent length. The handmaidens have to be careful not to pull or snag the strands, a task that requires patience and a gentle touch. Once your hair is completely unbound, it is time for the cleaning. But this is not a washing in the way you might think. Your hair is not submerged in water. Instead, your handmaidens use a dry cleaning method. They bring forth a fine, absorbent powder, often made from ground orris root or other aromatic plants. This powder is gently worked into your scalp and hair, kind of medieval dry shampoo. The powder absorbs the excess oils and grime, and it also leaves a pleasant, earthy scent. A quirky tidbit you've learned from your handmaidens is that the choice of powder could also be a subtle signal. A powder made from rose petals might be used to enhance your beauty, while one made from rosemary could be used to improve your memory and clarity of thought. The hair, like the body, is a canvas for subtle communication. After the powder has had a chance to absorb the oils, the handmaidens begin the combing. This is the most important part of the ritual, a process that is both a cleaning and a form of meditation. They use fine-toothed combs made of ivory or bone, and they work through your hair, section by section, from root to tip. The combing removes the powder, the dust, and the tangles, but it also stimulates the scalp and distributes the natural oils. It is a long, repetitive process, and it is a time for quiet conversation or peaceful silence. You can feel the gentle pull of the comb as it moves through your hair, a soothing, rhythmic sensation that lulls you into a state of calm. Historians still argue whether the medieval practice of dry cleaning hair was a result of a genuine belief in its effectiveness, or if it was a practical solution to the logistical challenges of washing long hair without a constant supply of hot, clean water. Was the dry powder a conscious choice, or was it a necessity? You know that it is a bit of both. You are a product of your environment, and your hair rituals are a reflection of the tools and resources you have available to you. The final stage of the ritual is the scenting and styling. Once your hair is clean and combed, your handmaidens work fragrant oils into the ends to prevent them from becoming dry and brittle. They then begin the process of rebraiding your hair, a task that is as intricate and artistic as it is practical. The braids are not just for keeping your hair neat. They are a form of adornment, a kind of elaborate headdress that signifies your status. The styles can be simple, or they can be so complex that they require the work of several handmaidens and hours of labour. The entire ritual is a testament to the fact that your hair is a living, breathing part of your royal identity. It is a thing of beauty, a symbol of your power, and a canvas for subtle communication. It is a thing that is tended to with reverence and care, a constant reminder that you are not just a woman, but a queen. The dry cleaning, the meticulous combing, and the elaborate braiding are all a part of this larger symbolic narrative. You remember a time when a travelling knight, upon seeing your unbound hair for the first time, fell to his knees in awe. He had only ever seen you with your hair braided and hidden under a headdress, and the sight of your long flowing hair was a profound and shocking revelation. It was a moment that underscored the power of your hair, a power that was both a part of you and a part of the royal image you projected to the world. As your handmaidens put the final pins in place and the braids are finally secured, you feel a sense of completion. The ritual is over, and you are ready to face the world. Your body is clean, your clothes are fresh, and your hair is a perfect, fragrant crown that sits atop your head. You are a queen, and you are ready to rule. The hair ritual is the final beautiful piece of the puzzle, the last act in a day that is a constant performance of power, and it is a performance that you have mastered. With your body clean and your hair a meticulously crafted crown, You are now ready for the final and most luxurious part of your morning ritual, the dressing. This is not a rushed affair. It is a slow, deliberate process, a moment of profound sensory pleasure, and a chance to solidify your royal persona. The dressing ritual is a performance in and of itself, a final layer of armour that you don before you face the world. Your handmaidens have already laid out your clothes for the day. A mainstream historical fact is that a queen's wardrobe was a significant part of her wealth and power. Her garments were not just for covering her body, they were works of art, woven from the finest silks and velvets, and embroidered with gold and silver thread. The clothes you're about to put on are heavy, multi-layered and restrictive, but they are also a source of immense pride and comfort. You stand patiently as your handmaidens begin the first layer, a fresh linen shift that feels cool and soft against your freshly oiled skin. The shift is not just an undergarment, it is a critical part of your personal hygiene, a way to keep the heavier outer garments from becoming soiled. A quirky tidbit you've learned from your laundresses is that a clean shift can make you feel 100 times better than a full bath. It is the real secret to feeling fresh and clean throughout the day. After the shift, your handmaidens bring forth the first of your outer garments. It is a long, heavy silk kirtle, its colour a deep, rich crimson that signifies your power and royalty. The handmaidens work together to help you into it, their movements precise and practiced. They pull the laces tight, a process that can be a bit uncomfortable, but is a necessary part of creating the perfect silhouette. You feel the fabric of the kirtle settle on your body, a second skin that is both a comfort and a constraint. The next layer is your gown, a magnificent creation of blue velvet, embroidered with your family's crest and a pattern of delicate silver flowers. It is a truly breathtaking piece of clothing, and you can't help but feel a surge of pride as the handmaidens help you into it. They carefully arrange the folds of the velvet, making sure that it drapes perfectly, and that the embroidery is fully visible. This is a moment of pure artistry, a silent conversation between you and your handmaidens about the aesthetics of power. They are the artists and you are the canvas. As you are dressed, you can feel the warmth of the robes beginning to build up. The layers of silk, velvet and linen create a kind of personal microclimate, a warm, protective shell that shields you from the cold and the drafts of the castle. But the warmth also comes from the lingering heat of your bath. The post-bath dressing ritual is a way to hold on to that feeling of warmth and comfort, to prolong the effects of the ritual for as long as possible. The robes are not just clothes, they are an extension of the bath itself. The final touches are the accessories. Your handmaidens bring forth your jewelled girdle, which they fasten around your waist. The girdle is not just a belt, it is a piece of jewellery in its own right, a testament to your immense wealth. They also bring forth a heavy velvet cloak trimmed with ermine fur. The cloak is a symbol of your regality, a final, magnificent flourish that completes your outfit. You feel the weight of the cloak on your shoulders, a physical reminder of the weight of your crown and your responsibilities. Historians still argue whether the elaborate and restrictive nature of medieval clothing was a matter of social status or a form of physical control. Were these clothes a way to show off a queen's wealth, or were they a way to keep her in her place, to make sure she was always aware of her role and her limitations? You, in your heavy, multi-layered robes, know that it is a bit of both. You feel powerful in your magnificent garments, but you also feel a sense of constraint. The clothes are a part of your power, but they are also a part of your cage. As you stand fully dressed, you feel a sense of profound transformation. You are no longer just a woman who has just had a bath. You are a queen, a living symbol of a powerful kingdom. The bath and the dressing ritual have worked together to create this illusion, this perfect, magnificent lie. The clothes have covered the last vestiges of your human vulnerability, and they have made you into a deity, a figure who is untouchable and perfect. The dressing ritual is a quiet, profound moment of preparation. It is a time for you to mentally prepare for the day's duties, to get into character, to put on your royal persona. The handmaidens who assist you are not just dressing you. They are helping you to become a queen. They are your silent collaborators, your accomplices in this beautiful, necessary deception. And as you walk out of your chambers, you know that you're not just a person in a dress. You're a living, breathing work of art, and you're ready to face the world. The day is winding down. The layers of silk, velvet, and brocade that were so magnificent this morning now feel heavy and constrictive. You have held court, attended meetings, and listen to petitions, and your body is weary from the performance of power. But before you can finally rest, there is one last ritual to be performed, a final, quiet act of cleansing that is as symbolic as it is practical, the washing of your feet. This is a profoundly different ritual from your morning bath. It is not about a full-body cleansing or a public display of purity. It is a moment of private, quiet humility, a chance to connect with the most humble and hard-working parts of your body. Your handmaidens bring forth a small carved wooden basin filled with warm scented water. The water is infused with herbs that are known for their soothing properties, peppermint for its cooling sensation and chamomile for its calming scent. You sit on a low stool and a handmaiden kneels before you. She is not a senior member of your retinue. This task is often given to a young new handmaiden, a way for her to show her dedication and a way for you to humble yourself before a servant. As you dip your tired, aching feet into the warm water, you feel an immediate sense of relief. The water is a balm, a gentle caress that soothes the aches and pains of a long day spent on your feet. A mainstream historical fact is that the washing of feet was a common act of hospitality and a sign of respect throughout the medieval period. It was an act of humility, a way to show a guest that they were truly welcome. For a queen, it was an even more profound act. It was a way to acknowledge the hard work of your body and to show your handmaidens that you, too, are a human being, subject to the same physical realities as they are. The handmaiden begins to gently wash your feet. She uses a soft linen cloth and a simple, unperfumed soap. Her touch is gentle and respectful, and she works with a quiet concentration, as if this is the most important task she will perform all day. She meticulously cleans your toes, the arches of your feet, and the soles, working away the day's grime. This is a moment of profound intimacy, a quiet exchange of trust and service. A quirky tidbit you've learned is that some queens would have their feet washed with special, expensive perfumes as a sign of their immense wealth and status. But you have always preferred the simple herbal-infused water. It feels more honest, more genuine. The act is not about showing off your wealth. It is about a quiet moment of personal care and connection. It is a way to end the day with a sense of peace and gratitude. Historians still argue whether the practice of royal foot washing was a genuine act of humility or a staged performance designed to project an image of piety. Was the queen truly humbled by this act, or was she just playing a role? You in your heart know that the act is a bit of both. You are a queen, and every action you take is in some way a performance. But there is also a genuine sense of peace and humility that comes from this ritual. It is a way to ground yourself, to remind yourself that beneath all the silk and velvet you are just a woman with tired feet. As the handmaiden finishes washing your feet, she gently dries them with a soft, clean towel. She then anoints them with a light, unperfumed oil, a final soothing touch that prepares them for a night of rest. The anointing is a quiet, deliberate act, a way of showing your feet the same care and respect that you show your face and hands. Your feet are your foundation, and they deserve to be cared for. The washing of your feet is the final, gentle end to a long, complicated day. It is a ritual that is far more about self-care than it is about cleanliness. It is a way to let go of the day's stresses, to shed your royal persona, and to simply be. You are no longer the magnificent queen who held court and signed edicts. You're just a woman who is tired and in need of rest. As you're finally led to your bed, your feet feel light and refreshed. The room is dark and quiet, and you can hear the faint crackling of the fire in the hearth. You are ready for sleep. The day's journey, from the morning bath to the evening foot washing, has been a long and winding one. It has been a journey of power, of performance, and of quiet, personal care. The bathing ritual is not just a part of your life. It is a profound and moving narrative that you live every day. It is a story told in water, in herbs, in scents, and in the gentle, caring hands of your handmaidens. The castle is now completely silent, save for the faint, persistent whisper of the wind through the cracks in the stone. You lie in your bed, a soft linen sheet pulled up to your chin, and you feel the profound, bone-deep stillness that comes after a long, ritualized day. The memory of the bath, the dressing, and the final washing of your feet lingers in your senses, a gentle scent of chamomile and a feeling of profound rest. The ritual has served its purpose, and now it is time for the final quiet act of the night. the gentle fading of its memory into the unconscious. The history of your bathing rituals, you realize, is not static. It is a living, breathing thing that is constantly evolving. A mainstream historical fact is that the medieval practice of communal bathing and the use of public bathhouses declined significantly in the late Middle Ages and early Renaissance, largely due to a combination of changing social attitudes and the fear of infectious diseases like the plague. The bath, once a social and political institution, became a more private, solitary affair. The fear of disease led people to believe that hot water opened the pores and made them susceptible to illness, a belief that was a direct reversal of the old humoral theory. The bath, once a source of health, became a source of danger. You can feel this shift in your own lifetime. The younger handmaidens are more cautious with the herbs they use, more fastidious about the cleanliness of the water, and more concerned with the sanitizing of the tub. The old ways, the ones that were based on tradition and superstition, are slowly being replaced by a new, more empirical approach. The ancient unspoken knowledge of the herbalists and the handmaidens is being questioned by the court physicians, who are beginning to advocate for a different, more sterile kind of cleanliness. A quirky tidbit you've heard is that in some parts of Europe, the public bathhouses are being shut down altogether, their owners fearing that they are a breeding ground for sickness. The shared bath, once a symbol of community and trust, is becoming a thing of the past. The communal bath that you shared with the noblewoman from the rival family would, in a few generations, be seen as a reckless and dangerous act. This is a profound change, a cultural shift that is happening so slowly that it is almost imperceptible. Historians still argue whether the decline of the public bath was a necessary step towards a more hygienic society, or if it was a tragic loss of a valuable social institution. Did the fear of disease lead to a better understanding of hygiene, or did it just lead to a more fearful and solitary existence? You, in your quiet state of contemplation, know that it is a bit of both. The fear of disease has made people more careful, but it has also made them more isolated. The ritual of the shared bath, with its quiet intimacy and its honest exchange, is a thing that is slowly being lost to time. The bath, then, is a metaphor for your reign. It is a thing that is rooted in ancient tradition, but it is also a thing that is constantly being remade and reimagined by the demands of your changing world. The bath of your childhood, a communal, unself-conscious affair, is a far cry from the meticulous ritualized performance of your adulthood. And the bath of your old age, you suspect, will be a different thing altogether, a private, solitary comfort, a quiet moment of reflection on a long and complicated life. The last remnants of the day's scents are now fading into a soft, hazy memory. The scent of rose and jasmine has been replaced by the subtle, comforting smell of clean linen. The warmth of the water is now a faint, lingering sensation in your skin. The quiet murmuring of your handmaidens is now a distant echo in your mind. The ritual is over, and it has served its purpose. It has cleansed your body, it has calmed your mind, and it has prepared you for rest. As you finally drift off to sleep, you are grateful for this ritual, this beautiful, necessary performance that has been a constant in your life. It has been a source of comfort, a source of power, and a source of quiet, personal care. It has been a way to connect with your body, with your handmaidens, with your kingdom, and with a history that is as old as time itself. The bath, you realize, is a part of your legacy. It is a thing that will be remembered long after the details of your reign have faded. It is a testament to your life as a queen, and to your humanity as a woman. The final image in your mind is of a gentle, rippling pool of water, reflecting the soft glow of a single candle. The water is clean and still, and it is a perfect symbol of peace and tranquility. You are floating in it, completely at ease, completely at peace. And as the image fades, you finally drift off into a deep, dreamless sleep, a sleep that is as pure and as profound as the water itself.